Hello, hello, my love bugs, my honey bunnies, my booblahs. Mwah. Welcome to Love, Truth, and Beauty, episode 307. And in today's video, I am continuing on with populating my 58 or more video series playlist by reading aloud translation that went from the Russian to the Arabic to the English of Hacking the Technogenic System by Vadim Zelen, who brought Transurfing to the universe. We hope Vadim translates the book to English very soon, and until he does that, we will talk about it in the English from other translations with the personal efforts of my beautiful friends, Moheel, Jawad, and Teodora, Salvia, who took it upon themselves to take on the task of sharing its wealth of knowledge, particularly during this time in our human history. So I'm doing my part with reading this valuable information so that it can be integrated into knowledge and further integrated into wisdom. So grab your favorite beverage, sit back, and allow me to read to you chapter 17 of Moheel, Jawad, and Teodora Salvia's translation of Hacking the Technogenic System. This chapter is entitled The Childhood Impression. Here I continue to discuss the topic of the previous chapter where we talked about coordination of intention. We painted in orange our world and all the events and circumstances we thought had a negative tint, and we can actually make everything that we hate, or almost all of it, desirable. It remains only to apply the same principle when dealing with people and their actions. We are now beginning to discuss techniques for clearing our world of the weights that you must shed. If you paid attention, you must have noticed that transurfing does not cure problems, but removes their causes, severing Hordias knots in one fell swoop. In addition to this, it is not worth it to search for the reasons which led to the appearance of this or that situation, because your search may take a long time and you may get lost in it. So the best thing you can do to erase your way into the future is to get rid of the things that cause this. At that moment, the current problems will go away on their own and no new problem will arise. In other words, you should not pay attention to the past and also not pay attention to the present, but to the intended future. Keep your eye on the goal. Move forward so that nothing is left behind. You will only reach where your intention is directed. It is not true what they say in this context. Live in the present moment. In the present moment, there is no power. Okay, it's a done deal. The power is in the moment that precedes time, and the exact moment, that exact moment determines the course of the daydream that you are living, or the nightmare. We'll talk about this later, but for now, this is the only information to contemplate. But if we now remember that little girl who painted the world orange, we could ask ourselves, well, can we do that in practice? Fortunately, the situation here does not require the possession of special skills or to work with extraordinary efforts, because the world will automatically acquire joyful colors if you use in your relationship with it the principle of intention coordination toward the situation that has been given and toward the actions and behavior of others. And anyone whose perception is alert and active at this moment can catch me red-handed and say to me, actions and behaviors are one and the same. Here and at this point lies the heart of the whole issue. With or without reason, we're used to harass others, interrupt them, and criticize them for the smallest fault. But if the mistake was great, then we would not hesitate to curse them. That is what most of us do automatically, and it is literally instant reaction. If others do something we do not like, then in the corner of our heads, our red light is ignited. So we shout and say, hey, 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 then we launch insults in a written or spoken form. This is especially true on the internet, where there are enthusiasts of every color and no one can catch or kick the other, and it is a spacious place and everything is permitted, anything goes. Whatever they say about the need to take a calm attitude toward criticism, the latter does not have anything good at all does not have anything good at all for anyone, whether for the subject or for the critic. The least that can be said is it always looks ugly. If you are now in a state of psychological equilibrium, try to imagine objectively and impartially what it would look like to curse someone or something, speak obscenely, express indignation, and express discontent. There's no doubt that it is a really ugly scene, regardless of whether its obscene reaction is justified or not. But since this is so ugly, then why do people play such an ugly scene? We do this because the impression that has been inoculated in our mental structure from early childhood is the following. If someone who is older than us scolds us harshly and indignantly, it means that she is right, and there is no doubt that we have done something foolish or have done something wrong. And since adults know more than we do, they are considered higher and better than us, while we are still young and reckless, and we are something inferior to them. But the little ones say, listen then, we do not want to be inferior to anyone. Now, based on this, the following position has been formed in our mental structure since childhood. If it is not the other person who is scolding you, but you are the one reprimanding him, then this means that you are right and you are better than the person you are reprimanding and superior to him or her. And if we look deeply, we will realize that this reaction is a naive and primitive reaction at the level of invertebrates. On the other hand, he also creates here superiority, albeit a temporary delusion, but some of us somehow feel that they are above the others. But it is necessary to take into account in this context and never forget that this is just an illusion. And it lifts you up from within, but in your mind only. That is, you only imagine it, and from the outside, the situation does not look impressive at all. Now, if we take the internet, for example, and here, since it occupies a large place in our reality, and thus we imagine what will the critic look like, looking for a way to prove her personality, we will see that she is not different from the domestic puppy who raises its tail and barks, and then at the same time raises its legs and urinates, even if sometimes it is right. But what effect did it leave to indicate it? Okay, left a trace of dirt. So the question is, what works and what trace do these people leave behind? There's absolutely no doubt that the works of those attacked by critics remain. I myself was compelled one day to paint such clumsy pictures as necessary to break the childhood impression and to illustrate the reality of things. Ugliness is not the only word that characterizes the primitive reaction that results from resentment, but there are 3 other reasons that must prevent us from acting like this. Now, the first reason, the effectiveness of the boomerang. Whatever you throw in the mirror, it will come back to you, whether it is beautiful or ugly. The immediate conclusion from this, do not give others what you do not want to receive from them. And if you focus your attention for a while, you will discover that after some time that you yourself are one of them under the same legit article and for the same reason. This happens most of the time. It is rare for a boomerang to bounce back in a different form, but it does necessarily bounce back nonetheless. Anyone else can condemn you for your other actions. You can also encounter something that you hate. And from a logical point of view, here is the link between this and what you have thrown at others. So what is the confusion here? Where do all these attacks come from? No matter what you ask and no matter how much you search, the answer is in the end will only be a torrent of boomerangs that you will have to dodge. There is no doubt, of course, that not everything is on this level of inevitable and symmetry, but the presence of the law of the inevitable in this is beyond doubt. And in this way, the childhood impression, despite its seeming innocence, is cause for many clashes, starting with family disputes and ending with Star Wars. The second reason, the effectiveness of the mirror. The mirror deals with the essence of the issue with indifference and completely ignoring where it is heading. And for it, the matter is the same, whether you support or reject it, because it only reflects your vision. But this reflection comes the second time to your reality and casts a darker shadow on you, because the expression of condemnation often accompanies feeling and is formed through the unity of mind and soul. And when you express your indignation and resentment, you are thus throwing more weight into your own world and your own layer of the universe. And remember that the projector displays the tape, which it is placed in, and nothing else. Then thirdly, finally, the third reason, you may not be right. When you attack the other with all kinds of criticism, you are certainly not right in that, because you cannot be aware of all the data that made a certain person act in a way that he or she does not conform to your vision. What would you have done if you were in his or her place? In any case, you cannot know all the circumstances, reasons, and considerations of others. Everything is relative in this universe, except for a few exceptions. We will summarize the rest of the chapter through the following points. Numero uno. So, the general idea is summed up, and when you show indignation about something, or when you insult someone like the government officials, football team members, the weather, or your colleagues, your family, friends, you broadcast an ugly image to the world's mirror and thus get a similar reality in the mirror. Number two, the talk here is not about canceling differences, but the important thing here is that the random choice does not control your attitude and actions, but the conscious intention must be present here. Number three, often it is better to express without caring about the things that cause you negative emotions. And so do not give them too much attention, and do not be influenced by anything that you do not want to have in your sector of the universe, because it is enough to allow someone or something that grabs your attention in any negative way, and that negative thing will pass at the same moment into your reality. Number four, if you do not succeed in ignoring, but have fallen into the trap of emotion and reactivity, you must not attempt to gain self-control by force, because such an effort would be in vain. You must understand that you must control the situation, not the emotions, because the situation can always be changed by consciousness. So instead of cursing, for example, do something completely different, like make a compliment, offer a compliment. Example: if you are tired of the hustle and bustle of your neighbors, you could say here, they are fun and creative and innovative. Number five, whatever the circumstances, tolerance and indulgence are the nature of kings. Number six, keep waking up with the vague dream when the vague dream is dominating the situation, and when everyone around you is lost in their unrealized dreams and reality. It is better to respond in this dream, but do not see it anything more than just interesting and exciting. Number seven, the last thing we have to say here is, in order for all of this to work, it is necessary for you to train yourself to identify the moment when you allow consciousness to intervene. And every time you don't like something and there is a need for a negative reaction to take place, hold yourself. Did the red light in your head go on? Yeah, so opening the monitoring and control system. What should be done here? You definitely know the rest. You will not gain experience directly, but gradually, after some work and after many failures. And then the previous random impression will stop directing and controlling your life. You will be surprised and amazed when you discover that the causes of discontent and resentment around you have become less and less, and your world will become clean and pure and radiate a warm orange color. Number eight, the world acquires bright and joyful colors automatically if you deal with it according to what? The principle of intention coordination, whether with regard to the given situation or with regards to the action and behaviors of others. Number 9, from early childhood, the following impression is inoculated in our mental structure. If older people scold us firmly and angrily, it means that they are right and we are doing something wrong. Number 10, from early childhood, an inherited reaction is formed. If you are scolding someone and not the other way around, then this means that you are right and you are better and higher than the person you are scolding. Number 11, whatever you throw at the mirror, it will come back to you, whether it is beautiful or ugly. Number 12, when you express your indignation and resentment, you're polluting your own world, your own layer of the universe. Number 13, if you attack others with your criticism, then of course, you will be wrong. Number 14, when you show discontent or insult someone, you are sending an ugly image to the world's mirror and it will reflect a similar image brought back to you. Number 15, but this does not mean that disagreement, confronting someone, and defending yourself and others when it is really necessary and calls for it are actions that you should generally avoid. Number 16, it should not be a random impression that controls and directs your attitudes, but conscious intention should be present here. Number 17, you will not be able to change anything permanent in this world, but you can replace the tape or the film that goes around in your projector with another tape, another film with different scripts. Number 18, attacking the screen and redirecting the display are two ways of living. They are completely different from each other. Number 19, you must control the situation, not your emotions. Number 20, when you're going through the variation stream, pay attention to accompanying signs and signals. Listen to what the mirror says and do as it tells you. Number 21, when waking up, keep waking up when everyone around you seems to be lost in a random vague dream, and do not see in this dream more than an interesting and exciting fact. Number 22, it is essential that you train yourself to identify the moment when you must allow consciousness to intervene. Did the red light light up in your head? Yeah, so open the monitoring and control system. When you are bothered by something, or when something makes you anxious or irritated, you go to bed and sleep. Same, when you realize that something is stressing you or teasing you, you can wake up in a daydream, same as in a normal dream. And there's no difference here. Neither one is important. And if you have enough energy and awareness, you can control and direct this dream. Okay, my loves, that is my speech. I hope you enjoyed my reading of chapter 17. Next chapter, read chapter 18. I saw the rainbow. Please help me grow my channel by giving this video a thumbs up and leaving a comment in the comments box below or in private. Please share this video with your communities, friends, family members, and on social media platforms if you would benefit from this content. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, selecting the all setting, so that when I upload videos, YouTube will let you know, and you find value, enjoy, or benefit from my content, or at least entertained by my content and videos. Won't you please consider supporting my work through a donation? My PayPal link is below, as is my coffee.com link /Dakini Kiss. I thank you all so much for hanging out with me, with your participation and focused attention. I really do appreciate it. I cannot do this without you, and I do this for those of you, knowing that you are so much more than what the matrix defines you to be. So until next time, my loves, always act from love, outside of the matrix, from the center screen, composing a new reality, quantum jumping all your lifelines, so that we can all be the love that we are. We can share a love, create, make art, make music, make love, and you can all help me repopulate the true quantum field creation field universe. Here's to love, truth, and beauty, my beautiful waking gods and goddesses. Mwah.